Hello, and welcome to Pardon Your French podcast with Vanessa Shernock.
And I am Stephanie Lauren. And this week's episode is number 6. And it is entitled... Sugar. I was going to say, pardon my French. Sugar My Pudding. Now, I love this title. Vanessa doesn't, do you?
No, I've said we'd do it for this week's episode just so that you'll stop asking me if we can use it as the title for the episode, and we'll just, this is it, unless there's a part 2, which I'm hoping there isn't.
It will be. Sugar Your Pudding.
Sugar Your Pudding. I've now said it once. That's it. Thank you for tuning in to Pardon Your French.
Yeah, the episode's over. So we just thought we'd come on. I mean, because obviously we had Jade last week as a guest, and so this week we're kind of giving you an update as to where we are with the podcast, what's happening with it so far, where we're planning on going and stuff. And actually, we've had so much incredible feedback and questions from you guys. So actually, we're going to dive into those. So you guys are bringing us content as well, which is amazing, because it's been an awesome ride. And to think, actually, we've only done 6 episodes, and from the moment of like birth till now, the actual concept is only like 25 days old.
Yeah.
It feels so much longer than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, there's been quite a lot of time and work put in for the first few episodes because we don't know what we're doing at all. Just, figuring out how to make the episodes in the first place and then putting them online and, trying to do some social media content. And it's like, we do live in kind of a black hole in the middle of nowhere. So having any of these skills are things that, like, we're not in the right age bracket to be out learning. Yeah, we're old dogs over here.
So we're trying to be cool with the kids, really, and have our own podcast. But actually, to be honest, when I initially thought of doing a podcast, it was genuinely just to see Vanessa and hang out with her. I actually didn't really think anything more of it.
And we're getting plenty of time to do that. I mean,
yeah, lots of time.
Yeah, so it's working. The
box,
yeah.
But actually, it's kind of snowballed now. Organically, which is lovely, into something that actually, the amount of messages and support that we've had is incredible, and we cannot thank you guys enough. We just thought we'd do this for shits and giggles, to be honest, when we first started, and we're still going to do that element of it. But it seems that you guys have tapped into our kind of humor, but also the resource of us, because I've been here 4.5 years, you've been here
13.
Yeah, so there are things that we've seen and experienced that we can definitely share our experiences.
Just trying to give people the resource of the anyone can do it.
Yeah,
you don't have to know what you're doing to do it, but it helps, and we can help each other, and we can help you. Maybe not. Maybe it's harmful. I don't know. But that could be why it's funny. So anyway, with the warning. Yeah, a warning. Don't do what they did. No. They've got some questions that we've been asked, and we're going to just try and answer them the best we can.
We can't obviously answer everyone's individual questions on their personal circumstances. But so for example, that somebody's interested in moving out here from the UK and has messaged me about the cost of living. Now,
I mean, I'd say most recently somebody was saying the cost of living is higher from coming from the UK to here. The cost of living is higher for supermarket goods. I know in the US right now they had that avian flu outbreak, so eggs are $10 a dozen or something stupid, and I'm like, haha, look at me wasting my eggs. So I was just making a quiche.
Just making a quiche. I used to have chickens and ducks and stuff.
Yeah.
Long live those days.
Yeah, but you couldn't even eat all the eggs, probably.
No, yeah. I felt it was so wasteful.
Yeah.
I was even though I was giving them away to everybody, I was like, this is what, they're at work all day. And,
yeah.
Poor bums. I would say my food bill is between 200 and 300 euros a week. And then I have to go out every day, if not every day, every other day for milk and obviously fresh bread. And things like that. So, I reckon I spend at least between 8 100 to 1,000 euros a month in food, and that's without like going to restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
What about you?
To be honest, I don't pay close enough attention. I just like buy the food we want and then eat it. But I do know, as an American coming from California, where we had lots of fresh fruits and veg and stuff, like obviously treat things like with chemicals to keep them preserved longer and stuff like that. So like here, the sell-by dates on things, they're like a hard sell-by. Like if you buy a chicken and it says on that chicken, today is the last day you can eat it, you'll open it and it'll smell like it's the last day you should eat it. And like oftentimes we'll buy stuff and I'll be like, wow, that, because it'll only be good for 2 or 3 days. It's like you eat it that day. You don't wait until the date. Don't wait until the
blow my mind. I bought a chicken, right, from a big supermarket, and I went to open it and use it, and I thought, so I gave it a smell, and I was like, oh my God, that's off. But it was in date, and then I thought, obviously, I've broken my fridge. So then I went and checked on my fridge, and I was like, no, the fridge is fine. Everything else is fine.
Yeah.
What?
No, it's funny because there's like this massive debate in the US about like whether or not you wash your chicken before you cook it. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So like, I've never washed my chicken before I cooked it, but now when it's like that, I will. I'll be like, I just got to get that like general.
I literally just threw it in the bin.
Yeah. Like the thing is, you kind of get to know the smells over time, and you're like, okay, well, this is the sell-by date smell. And then there's like if you went one extra day and it's developed that like sliminess to it, then you know that you can't eat it. Or I wouldn't. I think you probably still could eat it. I think there are people that do. But
no.
But yeah, like the same applies for like produce and stuff. Like my dad was really funny when he came to visit because we were buying produce like at the supermarket. So we were buying some mushrooms, and I like the mushrooms to be like purely white. Champignon de Paris, the French, white button mushrooms, right? I like them to be all white.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they start having like brown spots on them.
No, because they're going off.
Right? Well, I think they're going off. And Simon was like, he won't eat them once they look like that. And my dad's there and he's like, those mushrooms are fine. So like loads of times you'll go to the supermarket to buy something, some kind of produce that you're going there specifically to buy, and it will not look good, or it'll be off, or like they only get shipments of new fresh produce like once a week. So if you are going shopping on a Monday's a terrible day to go shopping. Like Monday, Tuesday's the worst. I think they get like the places I go, they get their fresh produce on Wednesday. So if you're there on Tuesday, it's like the last of the slim picking.
Oh, that's a really good tip, because I think a Thursday, I normally go on a Thursday if I can,
which is a good day.
Yeah, I've never really noticed that problem. So it's probably because I go on a Thursday.
Yeah. Like Sundays usually slim pickings as well, because they won't like be stocking things on Sunday. So they have the supermarkets open and they've got people working. They won't. Is this like from not Lidl or Aldi, but like the big supermarkets chains are open from like 9:30 until 12:30 or something like that on a Sunday. But they're literally just like, we're here opening the tills. So like the butcher, the fish, like none of those are open. And so nothing's been packaged and put out that day, or butchered and put out that day. So it's been on the shelf for like, because like once you go a few times, so like once you go to the supermarket a few times. So when I first moved here, they weren't open on a Sunday. It was a big deal. There were protests. There were like yellow vest protesters about the Sunday opening. And I'm like, this is the best thing that's ever happened in France, is like being able to, like get anything on a Sunday.
It always happens to me. In a supermarket, Vanessa, it
takes the place. Well, it's like I spend most of my time outside the home in supermarkets. Yeah. Like because you go shopping so often, and not say it's like because food goes off faster. I think here.
Yeah.
You're always at the supermarket, aren't you?
Every day life, and I do get sick of going to shops all the time. I'm going to the spa up the road, but I'm on the school run.
Yeah.
But for me to go to the supermarket, like Shelley's about 15, 20 minutes, and barbecue is like half an hour.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, so
so like that's like your meeting place. So like question number 2, where do you meet people? Like supermarkets?
It's obvious. I don't know if they're the right quality of person that you should be meeting in the supermarket, but I seem to have all of my, like, I went to obviously Lidl in Chalet, it's my like go-to place, and then I went to Lidl in Barbazua the other day.
Yeah.
And I got recognised in there. The guy who works here, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, you normally go to Chalet." And I was like, "Oh, I had to come to the clerk." And he's like, "Oh, right, okay." And I was like, as he's going tap tap with my things, and I'm like, "Do you now work in this branch?" And he's going, "No, I'm just covering for somebody for like," and this was all in French, I say. So I'm trying to like.
It sounds like it's like, yeah. It sounds like it's coming along though. Like that is pretty good conversational. Like,
so I find, right, so I've had a big breakthrough actually in Chalet with like tobacco. So the more I go somewhere and the more money I spend, the nicer they become. So yeah, so
no.
yeah, which you know,
That's how it works.
to me, I am just like an invisible face. So you're going around places, not really. Do you know what I mean? Like, how would anyone recognize me for any reason? It's obviously the sweatpants, but in my head, I don't think, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you forget that you like scream English woman.
Yeah.
You just scream it with every part of your being.
Fiber of my being, but I was going this tobacco, and I used to walk in there like year 1, and I'd ask what I wanted, and he'd look at me, take my money, and then give me back my stuff. And that was it. And I'd be like, "What's your what's your name?" And he would ignore me, right? Year 1, he would totally not even say a word to me. Year 2, I bumped into this guy in Calaton, which is like a recyclable sort of like furniture sort of.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
So, and he looked at me and went, "Bonjour." And I was like, "Oh, bonjour." Like, yeah, you could talk to the outside of your shop, sir. And it was like a half-baked smile with it. And I was like, "Oh."
He's flirting at you.
He was on me. And
were you in the sweatpants again?
Yeah, probably. Upload today, I'm in a dress. And then year 3, it's like I've had a relationship full time with this guy, because it's the longest relationship I've ever had.
Hey, this is like, it's like a meet cute, but every time you meet him, it's a new
crack
cute.
I crack him a little bit more like an egg. And so year 3, we were on to like, "Bonjour." And he'd go, "Bonjour."
Yeah.
And then about 3.5 years in, I'd ask him, and then he'd go like, "Is that all you want?" And when I looked at him, I thought, "You bastard, you can speak English for 3.5 years, or I've been coming here, and for 3.5 years you've pretended you can't speak a word of English at all." Not that I would expect him to for my sake, but like, even when I say, "Of what?" he could say, "Goodbye."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
hidden. And then I was like, "Oh my God, you shitbag."
But maybe he's been practicing that. Like, he's just to say for you.
Maybe.
Maybe.
He does now look at me a bit funny. And then I went in there the other day.
Carter's like, "Who's this guy?"
He does that to anybody anyway. Why is he looking at you like that? And I went in there and I asked what I wanted. And then normally he just goes, "Papa," with a smile. And then he put me right off kilter. He said something else. And I went, so all the blood ran out of my body. And I went, "Oh my God, this is my mum."
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's saying. This was my special moment. And I went, "Désolé, pardon." As if I could hear him. But
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
Did not say it slower.
And he said it again, and then he went, "Would you like a free newspaper?" And I think my eyes met his, and I was like, and then I really don't, but I really like the fact that you offered that. Thank you.
I feel like, I was like, I feel like you
Take your paper.
I feel like you need to take a video next time you are in the supermarket and you see this guy. Supermarket.
No, it's his fat.
Tobacco. Yeah. Oh, right. So he like, you rubber knows you now.
Yeah.
He's like, I know your brand.
I do. I had it was on it. It was around it this hour. Like, "Oh, it's like that. It's right." I'm like, "All right, you know me." But yeah, we had a moment, and I was like, and I went bonjour and au revoir. For nearly 4 years it has taken to get to that point where he feels that he's in a relationship of communication with me.
Yeah, but see, I feel like this is another part of the like French shopkeeper type attitude. So this is one of the things that I was warned about, I guess, before I moved here, was like, you know, you're not going to be able to make conversation with the butcher or the tobacconist or any of those people, right?
Butcher, the baker, the
Kendall, yeah, like Baker's a good example. It's like when you go in there, like even if there's not a queue, they're prepared for there to be a queue, and it's like, get your shit and get out.
Yeah.
So tobacco is totally like that. Like I've never been into a tobacco and bought something and not had it be like, they're not even looking at me, they're looking at the next person while they're doing it, because they know who that person is and stuff. Yeah. So like same. So what I was warned about was like butcher shop. It was like butcher shop is not like go in and be like, what's the good meat today? How are you? There's no chat. Like butcher's just like, what meat you want?
Yeah.
Here, have meat. Go.
Yeah.
And that
out my cool.
Yeah, and it took me a long time. Like the butcher we go to, my mom came to visit, and we're in there, and she's like taking pictures of the meats, because they're like the cuts of the meats are different, and it is nice. Like they have a lot of cooked foods and stuff like that. But like we don't generally go to a butcher in the States, so it was a novelty for her. So I was like, and you know, they do like the fillet of beef that's wrapped in the white fat, and then tied up like rôti de bœuf, right? And she's like, what's that white stuff on the outside? I was like, I don't know, Mom.
Just eat it.
We just buy it. And she's like, well, can't you ask him? And I was like, oh God, this is a big moment, because there's no one else in the shop,
right?
But you've got to like work up the courage to actually try and ask a question of the butcher, you know. And I was like, and he's got some big hands, you know. He's like a gruff man. Yeah. And so I was like, so what's the fat around there for? Yeah, totally. Like this is my mom. She's visiting from the US, and she's interested to know what is the white fat around the edge. And he goes, oh, it's pork fat. And I was like, oh, right. Which I didn't know. It was that's why it's super unkosher. So yeah, they like wrap the pig fat around it. I was like, why wouldn't they just use beef fat? Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, do you eat it? And he goes, well, I do, but most people don't. They use it to keep the meat moist, because it is such a lean cut of meat. And I'm like, why don't you just butcher your animals better so there's fat in the meat that like, but anyway.
So taking it back to cost of living, it's not even the money, it's the cost of risking your life going to the shops and having all these conversations that cause anxiety and stress for me.
Yeah, I was like the anxiety and stress thing. But when you're doing it all the time,
you get used to it, and they get used to it for autism.
Yeah.
And so cost of living, to answer your question, I would say France is definitely higher, like on a day-to-day basis of like food and stuff.
See, and then like for us, alcohol is a big one. So like we spend, even though the cost of alcohol, so cost of bottle of wine is a lot lower. Beer, you can buy like really cheap beer. I like to buy the really cheap beer because they're only 4% alcohol, so I can drink way more. It makes me look like I could really drink a lot of beer. But I mean, it's been so long that I don't know how much beer costs in the States, but certainly from the UK, like beer in a restaurant is pretty expensive now here. You know, like you're looking at what, €7 a pint or something like
that. Between 7 and 8.
Yeah. So I mean, it depends on where you are in the UK as well. Like London, it's probably really comparable or probably cheaper for a pint or whatever. But wine's always going to be cheaper here.
Yeah, like we were talking about wine earlier, weren't we? And I said, you know what, my favourite wine is like a bottle €2.25.
Yeah.
And I've tried more expensive ones, but I like what I like. It is what it is. And for me, it's great, the fact that it's so cheap. But I mean, I do try not to although last night I just had some wine. But when it comes to obviously gas, I don't know about you. Are you on mains? I'm bottles.
No, so we have bottles, but we only use gas for our range. We've got a gas oven, but I don't use it very often.
Yeah,
especially in summer. But
I go through 2 bottles of gas a month, so 80 quid.
Yeah. Oh, we won't use that much at all. It takes us about 6 weeks maybe to get through a bottle.
Roughly then.
Yeah.
Cost like electric for me is about 250 a month.
Ours is quite high.
Yeah.
We have an old electric heat pump that does our underfloor heating. And we did just get a new water heater installed because I was concerned about how much money that was costing us. Our refrigerator's 15 years old. So there's economy in not having those things upgraded, but there's also not economy in the fact that our electricity bill is quite high. So when we pay €455 a month, which is extortionate, I think, but it went up substantially December, January this year, and then now it's dropping back down again. It's because it's you pay over 12 months. So they do a bill adjustment once a year or twice a year, and they tell you this is your monthly amount. So it went up because our December was cold and we cranked up the heating basically. But we're also our house is 20 degrees inside, and you're not supposed to keep your house at 20 degrees and stuff. But it's that's one of those luxuries we're spending quite a lot of money on.
Then electric and gas feel like a luxury, don't they?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think in the UK now.
Yeah, I think it varies to say. Yes, I would say obviously you're going to pay wherever you are, but for France, living here, my monthly is about 250 for electric.
I mean, you buy wood in the winter to heat.
So I spend about 400 to 800 euros a year on logs.
We spend quite a lot of money on charcoal or briquettes or wood because we don't have a wood burning stove, so we don't have wood. We have to buy it specially for barbecues and stuff. Yeah. And that's not necessary, but obviously it keeps us from using the gas. It keeps us from using electric because we'll cook so much on the barbecue in the summertime.
Yeah, which is a really lovely idea. I really like that. So yeah, to answer your question, France is expensive. It's not going to get cheaper. Yeah, I think a lot of tourism has, from when I first moved here in 2020 to now, the tourism has massively dropped.
Yeah.
France isn't the cheap country to come and visit anymore, even though it's one of the most beautiful and still popular. I would say a lot of tourists are now going to Portugal and Spain.
Yeah.
Because it's a cheaper option. And if you've got 3 kids and the mum and dad and the grandparents, I totally get it. It definitely all adds up. So yeah, cost of living, France isn't cheap, but you get good quality produce, healthy, eco-friendly here. It's environmentally conscious and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully that's answered your question. Yeah, if it's not, if you want to know how much I pay for my Wi-Fi thing, let me know. It's expensive. I pay 57.
Yeah, we have Starlink, so we bought the Starlink kit, and then we pay €40 a month.
Yeah,
but it's incredible. It's way better than the DSL that we had, and because we couldn't get fiber because it was not available in your area yet, and it now is. But at the time, I thought, well, I'm sick of dealing with the telephone lines go down here a lot. I think because they're still low, they're on wooden poles, and one storm just knocks out the whole row.
Right, when it's really raining, there's a lot of wind. Your internet's going.
Yeah, you're or 7 o'clock at night when everybody else is trying to stream TV. It's boom, your bit rate drops. So
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, cost of living, is that a different cost of living?
It costs a luxury, then you can't live without internet. So somebody else has asked about transportation. How do you find it getting around in France? Would I need to buy a car if I moved there, or is public transport sufficient for my needs? Well,
you have
no. This US thing comes from a very I know it well enough to know that they come from an area that is very great for public transport in England. You jump on a bus.
Yeah.
If you missed it, another one will be along in 20 minutes. You're never going to get that here.
No, I mean, if you lived in a city, if you lived in Bordeaux, You
go on to them.
Maybe Angoulême. Wait, I don't know this Angoulême well enough to know their public transport. I mean, I know that
every branch is quite good.
Yeah, or Paris, obviously. Paris. Lyon was pretty good for public transport when I was there.
Yeah.
Marseille would be good, like big cities.
Big cities, but I can honestly, I haven't got on a bus since I was 15.
So there is a bus here that runs like once or twice a day from Ribrac to Périgueux. So Périgueux is like the capital of the Dordogne and
Yeah.
So that is like really good, but twice a day. And if they like don't have somebody standing at the bus stop like waving, they don't just stop.
Oh.
Yeah. So like because Vaughn uses it, Simon's son uses it when he comes to visit and stuff. But yeah, like the public transport here
is not reliable.
Well, they're not into buses. Buses are like not really trains are kind of their thing, I think. And like there are good trains, near-ish, but you still need a car to get to them.
Yeah, because if I was to go, I went with the girls to Paris the year 2 of being here, and we actually drove from here to Angoulême to leave our car at the train station, went on the TGV straight to Paris. I mean, it was amazing. We were there in like 2.5 hours. But yeah, public transport, but cars are so expensive here. I could honestly say, like, I bought my car over, and I paid a lot of money to import it. And then because the roads are so fripping bumpy where I live, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, I went for about 6 or 7 sets of tires, and they're nearly £1,000 a tire, like for a set of tires.
Well, yeah, he had a Range Rover at the time. Yeah, so the tires were expensive, buy cheaper tires than that with a different car.
But then obviously I was going through so many sets, and then the suspension went on it, and it just stopped working, and I was like, I cannot plunge any more money into this bloody car because I hadn't had it actually that long in England.
Yeah.
And then when something did need to be fixed, I was like, oh my God, I need to find somebody that can specialise in Range Rovers. And I can't remember what one of the problems were, but it needed a washer, right? And they had to wait 2 weeks for this washer to get sent from England to
through customs
for this washer. Yeah, so never buy a car. My advice now, 4.5 years in and like 3 cars later, never buy a car that that you cannot physically quickly get parts, and at least if you can possibly afford it, have at least 2 cars in your family. Because when one car goes down, oh my God, when my Range Rover went down, I was like,
yeah, like not a quick fix. It's like, it's going to take time.
Not a cheap fix.
Yeah.
And I still had to do school run and everything. Like, luckily, other people were really cute and lent me their cars in there. So, you know what I mean? Because I was like, oh my God. And I couldn't afford to go and buy like a decent, like, new car.
Yeah.
And partly because I'm in my head, I'm like, I do not want to pay 15,000 euros for that car that in my head and in my country is worth $3,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So like,
I'm being robbed.
So like this was, Simon really couldn't cope.
Yeah.
He struggles with this because he loves looking at cars. So he's always on Auto Trader and stuff like that. But I think, Brits have a different relationship with cars as well than Americans, but than French do. And I don't know really how the Irish relate in this way. But you guys actually put the year that the car was made on your reg plate, unless you have a private reg plate.
Yeah.
And some people even have private reg plates just to hide the year their car.
I had Lauren 1.
Yeah, but so people don't even know what year your car is because it's so codified that like after 3 years you get a new car. And so your used car market is really good. It's flooded. There's way too many, and you can get whatever you want, and like you can find a car that should be like an everyday runner that somebody's kept in a garage and has like immaculate condition, low miles, and you're like,
lady driver.
Yeah.
Fully serviced.
Yeah, fully serviced. This was my grandmother's. Yeah. Exactly.
No pets.
Yeah, no pets, no smokes, no smoking. Whereas, and you have your registration system, you have like category A, category B, category C, all of these things. So you know exactly where it's been. You can look it up. You can do like your Carfax history and stuff like that. Whereas like out here, you can look up a car's history and like there are some regulations obviously on registrations, but realistically, like you don't know anything about that car. They do have laws about like if it breaks down or if there's a hidden, they have like a hidden defect, or like if you knew that the gearbox was on the way out, if it goes, and like you have to take the car back and get a refund or whatever, even from a private seller. So it's like risky to sell a car, unless you have like all of the info. But also it's like out here, if the car runs and has a clean register, like isn't totaled out, it's worth €1,000 minimum. Which is straight off the bat. Like you would never buy a car that runs that can go on the road for less than €1,000 here, which blows my mind considering I sold my car before I left and I sold her for 250 quid. Yeah. And she was totally legal to be on the road. US doesn't even have like roadworthiness tests. What? Yeah, so like we don't have CT or MOT or anything like that, but you can literally drive. I mean, it's dangerous, I think. Yeah, you don't get brake checks or anything. They do in certain places, they do emissions tests. Yeah. So California has really strict emissions laws. Right. So if your car's old and it doesn't pass the emissions tests, but where I grew up, because I grew up like in the countryside that was like really rural, didn't have to do a smog test. Yeah, so it is funny like that. So like my relationship to used cars is probably closer to the French one, which Simon's relationship, not close. And we've always had English cars. Yeah. So we've always had, like before Brexit, you could import your car for free. So I've imported. Yeah, but I paid to import, like the tax or whatever it was. Yeah, so you don't have to pay VAT or import tax before Brexit, you didn't have to. So, excuse me. So I've imported 3 cars from the UK. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. I've imported 4 cars from the UK. Yeah. The most recent one that we imported is his BMW. That was after Brexit, and we had to pay import tax and pay to get it registered and pay VAT on it, and it still worked out being cheaper. Yeah, than buying the same car here. The only and the main difference was, I mean, he's wanted this car for ages, and it's not like commonplace on the roads in the UK, but it's nearly non-existent here. We'd never seen one of them here, and like we were laughing because last time we went back to England, within 5 minutes of being in the UK, we're like, look at Tesla, look at Maserati, look at it. We didn't see one of his. But you see all these like nice cars, whereas like you could go years here without seeing a nice car.
Yes, but then sometimes like I look at like a lot of French people now get their cars from what I've seen, finance. Yeah. They're like leasing, like really nice, like say like a Peugeot 308 or something. Like they're all leased. Yeah. Leasing a car here was, I think up until very, very recently, quite an easy, cheap way to do it.
We're going to probably lease a new electric car. One, because electric cars, the technology like catches up and it'll be obsolete within 3 years, but also the lack of like having to maintain and like worry about it, and in the long run it might end up costing more, but the peace of mind of not having to worry about
I get it. Yeah.
And I need something reliable that I can drive for weddings and here and stuff like that.
And I guess looking to like schemes is all of that. Yeah, is take things where you can find them. But in my honest opinion, looking back now, I would have sold my Range Rover in English.
We've had such incredible feedback from our listeners. I did about how much, people seem to be connecting with us.
How much?
Yeah. So,
we are loving what we're doing, which we hope you are on our Pardon Your French podcast. Do message and feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Audible, rate us. Amazon Music. We're kind of everywhere, which is kind of crazy and amazing. Spotify. Oh yeah, it's endless.
Go ahead and follow us, and then you'll get updates on when our our new and latest podcasts, episodes drop.
But thank you so much for all your love and your support and all the messages. We read them and we really absolutely appreciate it for you. So, yeah, see you next week. Bye.